Crime is down in DC. Homicides are down in DC.
Mehdi, you're making a mistake here because you're making a mistake here because it doesn't matter whether it's up or down.
It does. It really does. If crime in DC is down and it's down to historic lows, then what it means is there's no need to deploy the National Guard. There's no need at all. This is purely political. It's purely for optics. It's the same thing that happened in LA with Newsom. It's all about basically showing the opposition that, hey, if you push me, this is what I will do. That's all it is. Hey there, everyone. How you doing? You doing good? Cool. So, once again, Donald Trump up to his old tricks. This time, it's DC, once again, sending in the National Guard. And his excuse, well, quite frankly, any that works for him, because it's not about fixing the problem, it's about him wanting to look good and feel powerful. So, let's get into it.
The DC cops want help. What is the right of the mayor and others to say, no, they don't need it?
Last time I checked, Leland, we're in a democracy, so...
Well, no, the DC cops said they'd be grateful for the help, but it's a very big difference from, you know, we want to deploy the National Guard, or whether or not you should deploy the National Guard.
That's the right of the mayor and the people to say that. I mean, DC actually is not part of our democracy, right? The people of DC have been disenfranchised for a long time. That's a whole separate discussion that we don't have time for tonight about home rule and control by Congress and the fact that they don't have members of Congress, et cetera, et cetera.
But
DC
Trump has the right to do this, so we've agreed on that.
Well, yes and no. I mean, technically speaking, he has the right, because Congress wouldn't stop him if he did, to declare national law across the entire country. Like, if he turned around and said, I'm suspending the midterms because I believe there's a threat to the nation, Congress wouldn't stop him from doing it. And it would be ultimately Congress's job to be the ones to rein in the president. That's what it's there to do. So, you know, he would have the legal right to do that too. That doesn't mean it's a good thing. It doesn't mean morally it's correct. It doesn't mean, you know, politically it's a good idea. It doesn't mean necessarily for the country or for the Constitution he's doing a good thing. This is the sort of thing you see in banana republics or in dictatorships, is that whenever you get, you know, a bit of unrest within a city, typically speaking, the local police are the ones who deal with it. And the reason they're the ones who deal with it is because they're the ones who are represented by the city itself. And Republicans, who quite frankly have always shown themselves to be, or claimed to be, the ones who are all about, you know, states' rights and local authority and, you know, get the government off my back and blah, 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 don't care. They really don't care. For them, they love it. They want to see more of it. And that's a major issue.
So Trump has a legal right to send troops, and he doesn't have a right to interfere in the government, which he's now trying to do. Only Congress does. But, you know, let's just take it.
Yeah, like I said, though, Congress don't care. Congress are indifferent to this.
This one by one. Statistics that you don't like. The statistics do show that crime is down, violent crime is down in DC. These are FBI statistics as well as city statistics, as well as every stat out there. It's at a 30-year low, violent crime.
Yeah, that's kind of funny, because I remember hearing about this a couple of months ago. I'll briefly explain this and then I'll get into what's amusing about it. DC crime is down. It's down very low. It's at historic lows. And now suddenly, because there's an opportunity to do so, Trump turns around and goes, no, it's a cesspool of death and destruction, so we're going to send in the troops to save it. This is very typical Trump. He does the same thing on the economy, that he wants rates to come down. Rates coming down is like what happens when the economies don't do well. So he's basically saying that the economy is doing great and terrible at the same time. It's the same thing here. He'll brag and he'll talk about how he's law and order. DC is in an incredible spot. Everything's amazing. Everything's fantastic under Trump rule. And then on the flip side, like I said before, does the complete opposite. It's terrible. It's under a threat. I have to step in there and save it for you. It's constantly the narrative switching.
In Washington, D.C. It's down 35% last year, and as you said, 26% this year. You know who bragged, Leland, you know who bragged that crime is down in D.C. by 26% in April of this year?
I'm sure you're going to say Trump did, but I have no idea.
Trump did, yeah, Trump did. They took credit. They said, "Look, crime's down." Ken Martin,
look,
his acting attorney. No, it's important because when they wanted to show the statistics in their favor, they did. Look, it's down. Crime is down in DC. Homicides are down in DC.
I think, Mehdi, you're making a mistake here because you're making a mistake here because it doesn't matter whether it's up or down.
It does. It really does. If DC If crime in DC is down and it's down to historic lows, then what it means is there's no need to deploy the National Guard. There's no need at all. This is purely political. It's purely for optics. It's the same thing that happened in LA with Newsom. It's all about basically showing the opposition that, hey, if you push me, this is what I will do. That's all it is.
Was it high and out of control during the pandemic?
Yes.
Whether it's up or down is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is it still happens, okay? We have video from Friday night where a mob of kids took over a store and looted it. We have video from...
Yeah, but you don't need the National Guard to manage that. That's what the police are there to do.
About a week ago.
National Guard is for times of heightened emergency. Okay, I'm not being funny, but like DC police should be trained and are trained to deal with that kind of thing.
Where they beat up this mob of 15-year-olds were carjacking somebody, beat somebody up, almost killed them. What about their rights? I'm still trying to understand why, if you're a law-abiding citizen, more police is a bad idea.
But it's not more.
It's not about saying, Mehdi's just about to say it there. Sorry, I cut him off. It's not about more police. It's not about more recruiting of local police. It's about the federal government using the National Guard. It's about optics. It's not about helping.
Police, right? It's the National Guard. Hire more police. Did you know that the Trump administration just cut $20 million in security funding to D.C., which is weird because apparently crime is out of control. When you say it doesn't matter whether it's up or down, it does. Some of us believe in truth and facts. When you say, you know, crime should be stopped, of course crime should be stopped, but this is not the solution. Are you planning, or is Trump planning to send the National Guard to every city? Is he going to send it to Aurora, Colorado, which has a Republican mayor and a higher crime rate, violent crime rate than...
Very, very, very good point. Is he going to deploy National Guard to every single city where there is any kind of unrest? I don't think he will. He'll do it to Democratic cities, because again, it's about sending a message. He would never, ever do it to conservative or Republican-controlled cities. Wouldn't do it.
D.C. Is he going to send it to every city? This is not sustainable, Leland. You're smarter than Donald Trump.
I hope he sends it to St. Louis.
You can't solve the crime problem by sending the National Guard. We're Americans. We don't like the military on our streets. We're not a tin pot dictatorship. We should be able to sort out crime through law enforcement, through policy, which Donald Trump doesn't seem to care about.
So let's put the National Guard aside. Let's put the National Guard aside. What's wrong with having...
No, I'm not going to put the National Guard aside.
Yeah, good. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Stay on point.
Because it's quite important. It's at the core of this. This is about Trump wanting to do a power grab. This is about Trump's obsession with the military. You can pretend it's about... You think it's because Trump cares about crime in D.C., really? Because I remember Donald Trump on January the 6th, 2021, not giving a crap about crime in D.C.
Now verb January 6th. Okay,
sorry,
Mehdi, no, Mehdi, come on.
Let me finish my point. This is a short segment.
I know you said that. 150 police officers got hurt.
Hold on. You gave Bill O'Reilly a lot of time. Let me give an answer. I'm here for much shorter time. Let me speak. On January 6, 2021, you may want to move on for it. We all watched police officers in D.C. being attacked by a Trump-supporting mob, 150 injured, 600 people convicted.
Mehdi, you're going to sit here. We know the statistics of January 6th. Mehdi, you're going to sit here. Mehdi, you're going to sit here. Mehdi, you're going to sit here and say if Trump cures cancer, then January 6th was...
Yeah, for those of you not getting that yet, I mean, after January the 6th, obviously, Trump didn't really have a problem with that thing taking place. Trump cares about law and order when it works for him. When it doesn't work for him, he doesn't care about it. That's the point Mehdi's trying to make here. That is literally the point he's trying to make. If the cops not being there is advantageous, let it riot, let it burn. He wants it. He wants the optics. If sending troops in is advantageous, send them in, lock it down.
Okay, the fact of the matter is you can't have an argument. You can't have an argument about what's happening on the streets of D.C. without going back to January 6th.
Because it's about
you
Donald
won't
Trump.
talk about actually the crime.
Donald Trump, Leland. But Leland's
no, it's
not.
It's about how to have people be safe.
No, it is about Donald Trump. I mean, for starters, if you want people in D.C. to be safe, then you shouldn't have cut funding for D.C. That's the first thing. But that's not the reason why he's sending in the National Guard. He's sending it in because he wants the optics.
I said to you, Donald Trump doesn't care about crime in D.C. You said, yes, he does. And I said, I'm going to give you evidence to prove he doesn't. If he cared about crime in D.C., why did he pardon 600 people who assaulted police officers? You can't come and make this emotional claim.
Oh, come on, Mehdi. You can't. You're talking about completely different things.
You don't actually care about crime, then.
You cannot talk about this.
I mean, no, it's not really talking about different things. I mean, they're different events in the sense, in terms of the timeline. But the question is, does Trump care about the police in D.C.? Answer, no, because he pardoned hundreds of people who beat up cops during the riots. That doesn't scream principled person or principled president who cares about law enforcement. It screams opportunist.
Completely different things going on.
Why?
What do you mean
Why?
either I care about crime or I don't?
Where was the National Guard? Where was the National Guard on January 6th,
Oh, come on. You
2021 in
can't do...
DC?
No,
That was the
no.
most
This is
violent
silly.
day.
This is absolutely
Why is it
silly,
silly?
Mehdi. You can't
Why?
do this.
Why,
no,
Leland?
because it has nothing to do with what's happening or what the arguments
doesn't?
are right now. Okay?
Hold on,
and you can't...
said,
no,
you
it has
said
nothing
that
to do with
crime
it.
matters in D.C. The victims of crime matter in D.C. What about the cops in D.C.? And I'm
The
saying
only
the
person who
man
died on
presided-
January 6th was a Trump supporter, and you
you're not
can't...
letting me
You
get
can't...
one-
Yeah, it's not about who died. It's about, I mean, well, obviously that's pretty bad, but like, it's about the fact that people who were beating up cops got let go. And yet the guy's trying to show this as, you know, Trump cares about DC police. No, he doesn't. He doesn't care about DC police. That's what Mehdi's trying to argue. Mehdi's basically arguing that if he cared, why did he do this? Because he did this, clearly he doesn't care. So then the question is, well, if he doesn't care, why is he doing this now? That's the question. And the answer is optics. It's a power grab. He wants to show off to the base. That's all it is.
Talk about what's
Sentence
happening
out.
on the streets right now.
Let me know when you want me to speak.
No, you can't talk about any. You cannot talk about this without talking about January 6th or anything else. You won't have an argument on the merits. Mehdi, thank you as always.
Okay, we'll leave that there. Okay, cool. Well, that's that. I'm going to leave it here and catch you guys later. Take care.